everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine and Access Entertainment. With me, Kthien of
the band Erimha.
Exactly. I'd probably butcher the name if I tried to say both your name and the band name the same thing.
It doesn't matter, it is a tongue twister.
Well, so you're sort of new to everybody, even me who does this every day. So give us a little backstory on the band.
Well, I mean, this band is 4 years old, and we signed with Victory in March last year, and came out with the first album in July, which is called Reign Through Immortality. And so we're a pretty young band. We've toured with Abigail Williams, a couple of other bands, and now we're on Mayhem. So
yeah, how's that? I mean, it's only fourth day of the Mayhem Festival so far, and you're the opening band, which is always kind of difficult.
Yeah.
But how's it going so far?
I mean, it's going pretty good. We just try to push ourselves every day to just set the bar for the rest of the day. We are the opening acts, and we're here to warm up the crowd for the guys who have been doing it for so long. So our job is just to go out there, man, and pass as much energy as we can. Up to now, it seems like it's been going really good. We've had a bunch of fans, new fans, people who have never heard this kind of music before, just come out to merch and say, listen, I would have never thought I would have heard music like this and actually enjoyed it, and people seem to like it, so it's going pretty good.
So how do you explain sort of your sound to people who haven't heard you yet?
It's pretty hard. The easiest way to explain it would be to say it's extreme metal.
Right.
But, if we need to really specify, it's more of a Black Death symphonic metal. So
a little mix of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
In there. That's the hard part. You never want to label bands or everything, but people can't seem to, until they hear it, they can't get there.
And especially, when you start writing new stuff, and, you don't want people to say, well, if it doesn't sound like this, it's not the band, so we just try to keep it to extreme metal.
Right, because that sort of leaves it open. Because that's the thing, as a band, you have to be growing anyway.
Exactly.
So, now, how's the response been so far to the album out here on Mayhem? I mean,
it's been pretty good. We hadn't been touring as much as we would have. It's just part of the industry. You have a lot of things to prove to booking agents and stuff like that. So, we've been wanting to hit the road as hard as we could, but I think from here on in, we're leaving a big mark at Mayhem. So things are already starting to pick up, and we're only at day 4. So I think if we keep going like this for the rest of the tour, we're going to be leaving a big mark, and people are going to catch us. So
one of the things that's the one plus side, I guess, about being the first band to play is you get to see all the other bands. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, and it's crazy too, because we were talking about that the other day, is that some of us have, but I mean, I'll head out to merch after, and then right now, we go out to press. I haven't eaten yet, I got to take off all the costumes. So, by that time, I'm hoping every day to be able to catch Cannibal Corpse, which I normally do. And even, we've been able to catch Body Cam, who have been just killing it every day. So, but it's still hard with the long drives. The main stage, I was able to catch a bit of Trivium on the first day, and then the drives have just been crazy for us since we are doing the 12-passenger van and stuff like that. So it's been hard for us to be able to just hang out and just chill. So, but we're trying to catch as many guys as we can side stage. Yeah.
So tell us about the experience of recording the first album.
It was actually pretty hectic. We actually have one album out, which is called Irkala, which was done by ourselves.
Right.
And we actually took a full year off of work, off of everything, to just launch this band. And that experience was really cool to try to lay out what this band was going to be about. And when we did Reign Through Immortality, it was still the typical band. You're trying to survive with a job, and you're trying to push in a band at the same time. So, when we recorded it, it was just a free-for-all of everything. It was very hard for us to just sit down and, just concentrate on this band and lay it out. But still, we were able to work hard enough to try to hold it together and actually make an album that, we're pretty proud of. It's a bit more extreme than their first one, and maybe I would say even more extreme than what we're heading for. But we're not that much sure. But now, nobody in the band's working right now. This is all we're doing. We're just pushing it 150%. So, I mean, the next album will be a lot more, I think, worked than Reign was. Not that it wasn't worked, but it'll be worked on a longer period and in a more relaxed, setting, if you'd like. So.
Are you sort of, when you're out on the road like this, these big tours, you got a lot of downtime, you have the Pro Tools and everything?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we get to write, but at the same time, we're a very old school band. We try to stick away from that. Like, I will write riffs and just keep them in my head, so that when we get back home, you know, we'll sit down the band and say, okay, well, I got this. So, so it does take maybe a little longer for us to write, but we're trying to keep away from the new technology.
A little more organic.
Yeah, you know, we want to sweat it out, and you know, if you're writing a riff for 2 weeks and then you bring it to the guys, which you're really proud of, and the guys are like, I don't like it, you get pissed off. But I'd rather have that than having, you know, a whole like song written out and like, here guys, listen to this. So we're trying to bring it back to the old school mentality, to just sit a bunch of guys in a room and just write. So and up to now it's been going really good. We do have a little bit of material written. So.
Well, so what's up after Mayhem for you guys?
We would like to keep touring. We do need to come out with a new album also. So we're trying to balance things out between writing and, you know, there will be, up to now, with the way that it's looking, we might have 2 months off, which we're just going to be writing like crazy. And there has been a tour that's been talked about that came in yesterday, which, you know, I'm not allowed to speak about, but you know, we're trying to keep the hype up on the road. We know we need to write something for 2015, so I guess we'll have to like talk with label and management to see, you know, what's the best for everybody to work out.
Some balancing act.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, then, just to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Give us like 3 albums that changed your life, sort of set the stage for who you are and where you are.
I would say when I was younger, As the Palaces Burn from Lamb of God. I think just in that time I was maybe 13, 14 when it came out. Like perfect period of time for a guy who's that age to just let out as much anger as you can. And then midway, it'd be hard to say. I would have to say I'm gonna have to go with Slipknot too, just because you know, it really lined up, you know, that I was like, you know what, I'm going to be in a band. And it took a little longer than I imagined, but those 2 bands were really a big influence on me when I was younger, and I think a whole generation of guys. And lately now, I would say top 3 album, and I'm placing it number 1 right now, is Abigail Williams' Becoming. We got to tour with them. And I knew the band a little bit, but speaking with Ken, and even the other guys now who are a bit more part of the band, but Ken is really, you know, he's been there since the beginning. You know, we're based a lot lyrically on spirituality, and I mean, so is he. And the whole album, to me as a musician, is just a masterpiece. Lyrically, musically, I mean, I'm surprised this album didn't, you know, win any awards, or has not, you know. In my head, it's number 1 of the charts just because of the whole lyrical process and how it was written. So, yeah, I think Abigail Williams' Becoming is really a big part, and even for our drummer, you know, it's an album that's always playing in the bus. So, yeah.
And so, for you as a musician, who sort of inspired your style?
It's hard to say. Like, I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, so, you know, it doesn't show up in our music, but I mean, you know, I was a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and lately it's been a lot of Guthrie Govan that I'm, you know, that I'm really into. But for musically, you know, we do get, you know, pointed fingers saying, well, you guys sound like Behemoth, sound like Demu, and we did all grow up on them. I'm not the guy in the band who's listened the most to these bands, you know, and I do a lot of the guitar writing. So, you know, I would say that it's more the experience of everything. You know, every tour, every situation, every day. It's just, you know, you grow as a person and your mind grows, and I think that's really what changes this band, and that's going to keep changing the band. You know, unless we hit big factors like, you know, just a band like Abigail Williams, where we're like, you know, they become a big influence in our not only in our writing, but I think in our lives also.
Right.
So we'll see how bands like that affect the writing process in the future.
So you got an interesting band name. So last question, tell us about the band name. What it means.
Erimha means army or legion in Sumerian language. So when we decided to launch this band, we wanted to make a more of a concept band. And when we came across the Sumerian mythology and the whole, you know, to have that big of a civilization that was one of the first ones and just completely disappeared, and we're not too sure what happened, you know, to us, you know, it spoke to us a lot. Now the more and more, you know, we're a bit pulling away from Sumerian mythology, especially the new album. We're not going to be talking that much about that. It's going to be a lot more spiritual and a lot more inner strength. And I'd like to tell more, but I can't. But yeah, so Erimha, it just means legion, and that's how we run this band. You know, we're very strict on ourselves. We're strict with the other members, and you know, we're tight like an army. You know, we would take a bullet for any brother in our band. So
nice. Yeah. Well, enjoy the camaraderie of Mayhem Festival. Erimha out on Mayhem Festival. Come out early, check the band out. Thanks so much for taking the time, and we'll look forward to the third album.
Yeah.
See where that takes you.
Probably 2015. So
nice. And